Hello students, welcome to third episode of Motion in a Straight Line. Here in this episode, we are going to derive the equation of motion by calculus method. So before starting the lecture, I am going to explain you the basic concepts of calculus, that is the integration and differentiation concept, and then we end the lecture with the problem with the same topic. So, and this is very important for your CBSE exam as well as your NEET IIT preparation. So, keep watching this episode till end. Now, let's start the lecture. Differential coefficient or derivative of a function. So, what is differential coefficient or derivative of a function? It is an instantaneous rate of change of one quantity with respect to the other quantity. So, here why we are finding this, why we are finding the instantaneous rate of change, because we have studied that what is instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity was the rate of change of displacement in a very small interval of time. When the time is infinitesimally very small, then the rate of change of displacement is termed as instantaneous velocity. So, this velocity gives you the value of instantaneous velocity, and that can be written as dx by dt. That can be written as dx by dt. So, this is nothing but a differential coefficient or derivative of this v. So, in order to find velocity, instantaneous acceleration, we need to study the derivative of a function. So, let us start. How can we find the derivative of a function and how can we express this? If suppose I write a function y is equals to x square. Suppose this is my function. So, how can I find the derivative? I just write here dy by dx. So, what is dy by dx? It can be called the derivative of y with respect to x. Here we are just finding derivative of y with respect to x. This would be what? D by dx of x square, d by dx of x square, and we have a formula that d by dx of x raised to power n is nx n minus 1. That is the derivative of a function x raised to power n. Different function have the different derivative values. So, I will tell you the sum of the functions like differentiation of x raised to power n is, that is the important function x raised to power n, that is the algebraic function that you have to learn here in order to do this topic in physics. Okay. So, other derivative function like you have the trigonometric derivative function, exponential derivative function, these are also, they have some different formulas that we need to apply. So, here I am going to make you understand the derivative of the algebraic function whose formula is x raised to power n is nx n minus 1. Even you can find out the derivative of other function by knowing the formula of that. Suppose if I am giving you the example, the derivative of the function sin x, this would be cos x. Okay. So, if this function come, we just need to apply this formula. Okay. Now, here what I have to do, this is this function. So, now I can apply the rule over here, that is x raised to power n is nx n minus 1. Here my n is 2. So, I can write 2x 2 minus 1. So, and here I am differentiating with respect to x. So, this will be how much? 2x. So, in this way I can find the derivative of x square. Take one more example. example, suppose if the function is, suppose y is equals to t cube minus 3t square plus 4t minus 7. I need to find the derivative of this function. So this is again the algebraic function. So here for all the algebraic function I need to apply this formula. So this is the algebraic function. So here I can use the formula for here dy by dt, because this is a function of t. So here I am differentiating y with respect to t. So it is called rate of change of y with respect to t. Here it is called rate of change of y with respect to x. It is called with respect to t. How can I do this? D by dt of t cube minus 3 d by dt of t square plus 4 d by dt of t minus 7 d by dt of 0, because here there is no function. We just have to apply the derivative with each term separately. Okay. Now it becomes what? If you apply this formula over here, what will you get? T cube. Here your n will be 3. So here you will get 3t square minus 3, okay, into, it is t square. So how will you do this? This will be 2t. This will be 2t plus 4 derivative of t. Here if you apply the formula, you will get 1 t raised to power 0, 1 minus 1. See, t raised to power 1, 1 t raised to power 1 minus 1, n minus 1. Here your n is 1. So you will get t raised to power 0. So the derivative will be only 1, because any thing whose power is 0, okay, so any function with power 0 becomes 1. Now 7, this is a derivative of 0, so it becomes only 0. So what would be your final answer? It is 3t square minus 6t plus 4. That is what we did, the derivative of y with respect to t here. So in both the cases I have applied the formula only, that is both are the algebraic function. So I had applied the formula d upon dx is equals to x raised to power n, d upon dx x raised to power n equals to nx n minus 1. So these are some important formula that may be very useful to find the derivative of some important function in physics. So these are very basic formula for the differentiation. So at least if you are a non-math student, you need to memorize those formulas. That is very useful in physics. Okay. So if suppose I have a function like root x plus 3 sin x plus log x. Suppose I have this function and I need to find the derivative of y with respect to x. So how can I do this derivative? D by dx of root x plus 3 d by dx of sin x, okay, plus d by dx of log x, okay, fine. So here the derivative of root x. How do we find the derivative of root x? Root x meaning the power is x by 2. Here the power of x is, sorry, not x by 2, it is 1 by 2. So the power of x here is 1 by 2. So how can I apply this formula here? 1 by 2 x raised to power 1 by 2 minus 1, right? Plus 3. What is the derivative of sin x? Here I can use directly this formula, which is equals to how much? Cos x, right? And derivative of log x, this is how much? 1 by x. So we can directly write those formula from here. So if the function is other than the algebraic function, so this function is called trigonometric function. So here we just apply the formula accordingly. So if we further simplify this, we will get 1 by 2. This will be x raised to minus 1 by 2 plus 3 cos x plus 1 by x. This will be my answer. So, take one more example, like you have a function like x cube minus 3 by x square plus 7 x. Suppose this is a function. You have to find the derivative of this. So, how can you find the derivative of this? First, you just have to rearrange this function like in this form. Okay, fine. I just take this x raised to power 2 in the numerator, so that it becomes x raised to power minus 2. Okay. So, now I just find the derivative. This is d by dx of x raised to power 3 minus 3 d by dx of x raised to power minus 2 plus 7 d by dx of x. Okay. Now, here it is 3x square. What is the derivative of this? Here your n is minus 2. N is minus 2 meaning minus 2 minus 1, right? So, minus 2x minus 2 minus 1, this way just you will do, and when you multiply this, so minus 3 into minus 2 x raised to power minus 3. This is the derivative of this when you apply this formula with n as minus 2 plus 7 any the derivative with the power 1 which becomes the derivative of that thing becomes 1 only, and if suppose the constant would be there, so derivative becomes 0 because you just have to do 3 into d by dx of 0. So, whenever the constant terms comes, so the derivative of that constant terms becomes 0. Okay. Now, what will be your final answer? 3x square plus 6 x raised to power minus 3 plus 7. So, in this way you can find the derivative of the functions, and that we will do numericals in due course of time. So, you will see how this is useful in your physics. Next is integration. That is also very important topic of mathematics and very useful in physics. So, what is integration? It is nothing but a reverse process of differentiation. So, in differentiation what we are just finding, we are finding the infinitesimally small value, means the value which is very small. Okay. So, in differentiation what we will do here, the summation of that thing. Okay. The summation of small value, the summation of the small value gives that large value. Okay. For example, an integration is denoted by this symbol. This kind of symbol, integration is denoted. So, here suppose I have a function y is equals to f(x). This is a symbol, means y is equals to f(x), that is the large value we can say. So, if I do the differentiation of this, okay, if I do the differentiation of f(x) with respect to x, then suppose the differentiation of this will give us small f(x), that gives the small value of this. Suppose capital F(x) is the large value, and when we do the differentiation of this, we will get a small value of this f(x), small value of capital F(x). Now, what we do here, we just cross multiply here, and now if we do the integration on both sides after cross multiplying, if we do the integration on, if we apply the integration on both sides, what will we get here? Y is equals to f(x). Y is equals to means small, infinitesimally small value, and add up gives the large value. Means what we have done, from the large value we just get the small value by the process of differentiation, and integration with the small value we convert that into a large value. That is what the differentiation and integration, that's why it is called, they are just reciprocal to each other. So, that is the concept of integration. Now, just see how do we apply in our question. Now let's start some application. How do we do? Here the some basic formulas of integration. You can even find out this formula is just reciprocal of reverse of that formula that we did in the differentiation. So in differentiation it was nx n minus 1. Here the formula is for algebraic functions, the formula is x raised to power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus c. Here the plus c also comes. It signifies that we are doing the summation of x raised to power n with indefinite boundary, because our region here is not specified. So here we need to put some constant value. If the limit that from where to where we have to reach, or in which boundary we are lying, if the limit is given, then the c will not come into picture. So here what we are seeing, that is indefinite integral. So if it is definite integral, then you will see like this way, like you will see here in this way, you will get the limit that you have to go from 1 point to 2 point, or the value of x is 1 to 2. So if that thing is given, so in the answer you need not to put c, but here we are just doing the indefinite integrals. So let me take an example. How can we just do this? So suppose if we have a function of x raised to power 3 plus 7x plus 4, suppose, and we need to integrate this function, then how can we integrate this function? So I can use the symbol I to for the result, and I can integrate this like this way. Okay, so I just have to integrate this. So what would be the integration of x raised to power 3? Here n is 3 and I need to apply this formula here. So if I do this, then I have to do the integral part with each term separately. So for this term it will be x raised to power 3 plus 1 upon 3 plus 1 plus 7. Here for this term it is the power n is here 1. So it is 1 plus 1 upon 1 plus 1. Here the n is 3, n plus 1 upon n plus 1, n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Here the power of x is 0. So here x raised to power 0 plus 1, okay, or 0 plus 1. So simply integral of this becomes 4x. How this comes? See, x raised to power 0. So 4x raised to power 0 plus 1 upon 0 plus 1. So simply it becomes x only. Okay. Now here it becomes x raised to power 4 by 4 plus 7x square by 2 plus 4x. So this is my integral of this thing. Okay, so same way we can do the integration by using the formula. So here also this algebraic part is important. Algebraic function, that is x raised to power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Let us take an example of definite integral also. Suppose you have a function x raised to power 3 plus 2x plus 2, suppose, and you have to integrate this under the limit, suppose 2 to 4. So how will you find this? Okay, how will you find the integral of this? Okay, suppose here it is 2 by x. Okay, so we just do the integral of all the components here with using that formula. So x raised to power 3. So if you use first formula, so it will get x raised to power 4 by 4, right? Because here your n is 3. It becomes 2x raised to power 2 by 2, because x becomes x raised to power 2 by 2. Here the n is 1. Here the n is 1. So if you apply this formula, you will get this. Okay, you will get this with 2. and here what can you write? 2 by x. So here the integral of 1 by x is log x. Okay, so this will becomes only log x and with the 2. So 2 log x. Okay, and the limit is what? 2 to 4. After doing the integration part, you have to put that square bracket. Okay, so now it is your x raised to power 4 by 4 plus x raised to 2 plus 2 log x. I am just repeating this sentence. Okay. So now what you have to do after that? You have to apply the upper limit minus lower limit. So this is called your upper limit and this is my lower limit. So first in lieu, this is my called upper limit and this is called my lower limit. Okay, this is called my lower limit. So just first I am applying the upper limit. So in lieu of x, I am replacing x with 4. See, 4 raised to 4 by 4 plus 4 raised to 4 raised to square plus 2 log 4. This is my upper limit. Okay, this is my upper limit. Now I am going to minus. Now I am going to put the lower limit here. So now I am replacing x with 2. So it is 2 raised to 4 by 4 plus 2 raised to square plus 2 log 2. What you have to do? You just have to replace first all the x with 4 and then replace all the x with 2 and put the minus sign in between. So that how to solve your definite integral. Now you just have to simplify this only. 4 is to power 4, 4 and 4 will cut. So here you will get whatever 4 is to power 3 plus 4 is to power 2, that will be 16. So in this way you just have to simplify this. Okay. Now I can take one more example of definite integral. Like suppose you have a question like 2x plus 3, simple question. Okay, that is minus 1 to 2. Suppose this is your limit and you just have to integrate this. Then how will you do this? First you have to do the integral of this. So x will be x square by 2 by applying the first formula. Here the power is 1. Here the 3, so it will be 3x only. It will becomes 3x only. Okay, because it is a constant term. Constant meaning x raised to power 0. You can write this, and so here n is 0. So if n is 0, so 3 is 0 plus 1 upon 0 plus 1. So you will get only x with the 3. So whenever the constant term comes now, you just have to add t, or with what respect to you are just integrating that. Okay. So now, okay, this will cancel out, minus 1 to 2. So this is what my upper limit, this is what my lower limit. So first I apply the upper limit. Okay, this is upper limit minus, now I am replacing x with minus 1. So this will be my 4 plus 6 minus 1 minus 3. So it is 10 minus, this will be minus 2. Just the same way you just solve in algebra, same thing, just you need to solve this. Okay, so this will be the final answer. So in this way we go for the solution of definite integral, and the main important formula, the most useful formula in physics that we are going to use now in our next topic is only this formula, and sometime this formula may also be useful. Otherwise this is not much useful right now, but you need to memorize those formulas also. But the algebraic formula for differentiation as well as integration is very important, and you should know how to put the limit, okay, the upper limit and the lower limit. Okay. So kinematic equation for uniformly accelerated motion by calculus method. In the last lecture we did this equation by graphical method. Now we are going to solve these equations by calculus method. So here we just consider a body that moves in a straight line with a constant acceleration a. The body is moving in a straight line with constant acceleration a. This is the initial u is the let initial velocity at the time t is equals to 0. Let u is the initial velocity at time t is equals to 0, and at time t is equals to t, the velocity of the body becomes v, and s is the distance covered by the body. So here suppose at t is equals to 0, the displacement is x naught, and at t is equals to t, let the displacement be x. Okay, so whatever I explained here, you have to write in the notebook while deriving this equation. This is required because to do the derivation part, first you have to make the proper diagram, and then you have to write some wordings that you have mentioned in the diagram, that I am not going to write here, but you have to write your own. What you have to write? Consider a body that moves with in a straight line with the constant acceleration a. U is the initial velocity, V is the final velocity, body is at t is equals to 0, body is at point x naught, at t is equals to t, body is at x, and s is the distance between the initial and final point. That you have to mention first before starting the derivation part. Okay. Now I am going to start the derivation here by calculus method. So I am going to start the first equation of motion, that is velocity time relation. So from the definition of instantaneous acceleration, we know acceleration is equals to rate of change of velocity. Now if we cross multiply, what we get? A dt. A is constant. Now this dv is the small value of velocity. If we want to find the total value of velocity over a time t is equal to 0 to t is equals to t, then we have to integrate within a given condition of motion. So now integrate both sides within given condition. Given condition meaning what the condition is given, that first the velocity starts from u to v and the time changes from t is equals to 0 to t is equals to t. So here we are integrating. Okay, a is constant, so I can take a out from the integral. Now here I just need to put the limit. So how can I put the limit here? See, here if we dv, velocity changes from u to v. So in this, the velocity's limit is from u to v, and dt, so the time limit is from 0 to t. So the time limit here is 0 to t. Now if I integrate this, so I will get v. How I will get v? Integration of this will be v is how? Because we know that integral of dx is x only. How integral of dx is x only? Means it means you are just integrating 1 into dx. So the integration of 1 is x only. Integration of 2, we know that 2x only. That's why, okay, that's why the integral of dv will be v only. And here the a is constant. A is constant if we take a common. Okay, so we can take even here a common, a out of the integral, and integral of dt will be only how much? It is t. It is t, and the limit is 0 to t. Now we have to simplify this definite integral upper limit minus lower limit. So, if we substitute v upper limit, that is v only, minus lower limit. Here a t, upper limit is t, lower limit is 0. Now, this becomes my v minus u is equals to at, or v is equals to u plus at. So, this is my first equation of motion, or this is my velocity time relation. Now, the next is position time relation. Position time relation. Okay. So, we know the definition of instantaneous velocity, v is equals to dx by dt. If we cross multiply, we get what? Dx v dt. Now, but we know v is equals to u plus at, that we have derived already in the first equation. So, we can put the value of v as u plus at dt. Now, this is a small value of x. We have to find the total value of x. We have to integrate both sides. Integrate both sides within the limit. Okay, integrate both sides within the limit, within the given condition. Okay. So, if we integrate this within the given condition, so what we get? What would be the given condition? What is the limit for dx? So, dx, it is from x naught to x. What is the limit for t? It is from 0 to t. That is the limit for t. Now, if we just integrate this, we have to solve this definite integral. So, the dx integration will be x, or you can memorize simply the dx integration is x, dv integration is v, like that you can memorize, because we know that dx, if only dx, it means it is 1 dx, and 1 means x raised to power 0. So, you will get only x. So, integration of dx will be only x. So, you can memorize this way also. Now, is equals to, here in order to integrate this, you have to first multiply this, okay, and take in a separate integral. A is constant, so we can take a out from integral. What I did here, I just multiply this with the both term, dt with the both term, and then I took a out of the integral because a is constant. Now, here I apply the upper limit minus lower limit, upper limit minus lower limit. Okay. Here the u is initial velocity is constant, so that I can take out. So, I am left with dt. So, dt integral is t 0 to t a. Here the integral of t dt, t x dx. How do we do the integral of this x dx? X raised to power 1. So, x raised to power 1 plus 1 upon 1 plus 1. So, x raised to power 2 by 2. So, simply here it becomes t raised to power 2 by 2, 0 to t. So, x minus x naught is equals to u if you apply upper limit minus lower limit. So, this will become this, and half here if you apply the upper limit a by 2, upper limit minus lower limit. So, you will get, because my lower limit is 0 now, so I can directly put 0 over there. So, ut plus half at square, and what is my x minus x naught, that I can take as s. So, s is equals to ut plus half at square. So, this is my second equation that I have derived by calculus method. The third is velocity position relation or position velocity relation. Okay. So, here in this relation we need to remove time from that equation. So, we from the definition of instantaneous acceleration, we know a is equals to dv by dt. Okay, now I am going to multiply and divide by dx to both numerator and denominator. So if I multiply and divide by dx, so I will get this. I have just multiply and divide this term by dx. Okay, now what can I write in lieu of dx by dt? I can write this should be dv by dx only. In lieu of dx by dt, I can write v, because v is instantaneous acceleration, which is dx by dt. Okay. Now, what can I write? If I rearrange the things so that this becomes, I just transfer this dx to LHS, so I will get the a dx is equals to v dv. Now, this is the small value of dx. If I just want to get the full displacement or the full value of dv, the value of velocity, then I just need to integrate this. So, I will integrate within given condition. Okay. So, what is my given condition? Given condition says that x is equals to x naught to x, velocity will be v to u to v. So, if I integrate this, a dx is equals to v dv. Okay. If I integrate this under the given condition, so my given condition for x is, here it is dx, that is why I am putting the condition for x. Here it is dv, so I am putting the condition for velocity. Okay. So, if I put this, then what will I get? A dx x naught to x. Okay. A dx x naught to a. Why I have taken this a out? Because a is constant. Okay. V dv u v. Okay. Oh, sorry, v is not constant, so we just have to take inside the integral. So, here the integral of dx will be x only, and here what is the integral of v dv? That is v square by 2, v square by 2, limit is u to v. So, a upper limit minus lower limit. Here upper limit is v only and the lower limit is u. Upper limit minus lower limit. Now, you can substitute x minus x naught as s. So, a s is equals to v square minus u square upon 2. So, you can write v square minus u square is equals to 2as. This is my third equation of motion. So, let us take one problem. Here I am going to take this problem. This is from your NCERT in-text problem. So, I used to take one or more problem after finishing the topic in my all episodes, that all the question that I am going to take, that is first from NCERT, because first you need to finish the problems from the NCERT that is given, and then we go for more problem. So, within the episode I am going to cover the in-text problem for the exercise of NCERT that is given at the back, that we will covering in our new fresh episode. So, let us do this question. So, the position of an object moving along x-axis is given by this relation. So, this is the position of object is this, where the value of a and b is given this and this. Okay. So, where a is this, b is this, and t is measured in second. What is the velocity at t is equals to 0 and t is equals to 2. So, what we have to find? We have to find the velocity. This is what the position is given. We have to find the velocity at t is equals to 0 to t is equals to 2 seconds and t is equals to 2 seconds. We have to find the velocity of the particle at these two different positions. Okay. So, how can we do this? So, here the x is given this. So, if we differentiate this with respect to time, then what we get? D by dt of a plus b t square. Okay. Why I am going to differentiate this? Because if I differentiate this, then I will get the value of velocity. So we know dx by dt is v, and if I differentiate this is constant, the differentiation of constant becomes 0. Here it is t square becomes 2t. So 2bt, that is the velocity. Now what is the given condition? I need to find the velocity, okay, at t is equals to 0 and velocity at t is equals to 2, that what is asked in the question. So how can we find? If we know the value of v, this is the equation for v. So if I substitute the value of t over here and the b is also given, so I can get the values at t is equals to. So value of velocity at t is equals to 0 will be 2b into 0. So that is 0 only. Okay, and the velocity at t is equals to 2 will be 2 into b is 2.5 and t is 2. So this is how much? 10 meter per second. Okay, fine. So that the two values of velocity I got at t is equals to, velocity at t is equals to 0 second, and the velocity at t is equals to 2 second. Now my first part is over. Next it is asked, what is the average velocity between t is equals to 2 second and t is equals to 4 second. In case 2, I need to find the average velocity. So what is the formula for average velocity? x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1. So this is the formula for average velocity. So I have to find the velocity at t1 2 and t2 4, that is given. So when t1 is equals to 2, then what is my x1? The equation for x is this. So my x1 will be a plus b 2 square. This will be my x1. So I substitute t as 2 in order to find x1, and x2 will be a plus b 4 square. So my x1 will be a plus 4b and my x2 will be a plus 16b. Is it fine? I have calculated the value of x1 and x2 at time intervals t1 and t2. Now I can apply this formula in order to find the average velocity. A plus 16b minus a plus 4b upon t2 minus t1. So if I open the bracket, I'll get what? This will be 12b upon b, which is equals to 6b. Now if I substitute the value of b, which is 2.5, so I will get 15 meter per second. That is what the average velocity between t is equals to 2 to t is equals to 4 second. That is the velocity at t is equals to 0 second and t is equals to 2 seconds. So here we have derived the three equation of motion by calculus method. This method is very important for the examination point of view. So you have to practice this derivation in a well manner for exams, and the rest part of the chapter we will covering in our next episode. So keep practicing.